Hey viewers, as promised in my last video, when I was giving you tips on how to write an engaging cover letter, I had mentioned that I will get back to you with some important tips on how to make your resume stand out. So, without taking more of your time, because you all know how important resumes are, it's how important it is for you to uh, update them every so often, change them according to the job postings and the employers. I'm just going to run by a few important tips that will help you make your resume stand out and impressive within the clutter of resumes the employers get. So let's hit it. What makes the resume very impressive? Tip number one, make it easy to read. Make it well organized with plenty of space to contract the company names or your previous employer names in bold. Have the job titles italicized and bullet points, and make the font easy to read, and make sure there are no typo. Such such resumes are easy to engage with. So, so to say, in short, such simple resumes with less to say are more memorable than jam-packed resumes with a lot to say, are all over the place, not focused, and the reader cannot remember what they have read. So make it easy to read. Tip number two, put forth a clear story of progression. So the recruiters or the employers or interviewers like to see the staircase pattern of career growth. It's good to have no missing periods of time unexplained, and a clear before and after from top to bottom with the most recent position at the top. So when you put forth your resume in such a flow, in a staircase pattern, the trajectory comes across as warranted and worthy of serious consideration. Then make sure your job responsibilities are illuminated by accomplishments. So anyone can easily tell what your job responsibilities are. But you can make those responsibilities or duties significant or memorable by highlighting what you have achieved through that job responsibility. So here is an example. If you are working on a project, you would say, I supervised XYZ continuous production of this chemical under this. But that's a responsibility. How are you going to make it illuminate with your accomplishment? So you can write supervised or led the continuous production of XYZ, which led to an achievement of XYZ% growth or revenue for the company, or which led to a US patent. That's an accomplishment that is more memorable. So, if the accomplishments versus the responsibilities are impressive enough, the applicant is more has a more better chance of getting that interview. So what happens with that is the recruiter or the employer gets an idea that the accomplishment of the applicant is something that would not have happened without the applicant, without the person. Again, make sure, tip number 4, make sure your resume is free of exaggerations and false or untruths. How can you prove that? Make sure you have a LinkedIn link on your resume. So, what happens is these days, everything is fact checked and needs a reference. So, your recruiter will go through your LinkedIn profile and refer what you're talking about in your resume. Make your LinkedIn, keep your LinkedIn profile updated as well. So, fact checking and references happen every time. The truth is the only thing that will set you free. So, make sure you have these things in your resume, and the link to the candidate's LinkedIn page and professional website. These days, there are many applicants who have their own blogs or professional websites. It makes easier for the recruiter to double check the claims you are making on your resume. See, honesty is important. Tip number 5, use more action verbs, not cliches. Nobody likes to see cliched resumes. It has never attracted a single eye. So, what does that mean? When you see some when you see some resumes, you come across some standard language like team player, ambitious, innovative, creative. Uh-uh. These are all cliched adjectives. Don't use them. Let's try to put it in such a way that is more interactive or more like an action. So use verbs like I'm an excellent communicator, or have presented face to face at client meetings, online, at the events. So what happens is if you use such action words, it help you to visualize the candidate. So the person reading you is thinking about you and how effective your personality is, what kind of aura you carry, and things like that. So it is a very visual picture in front of the interviewer. So make sure you use a lot of action verbs, not cliches. And the last one, I wouldn't say is a tip, but it is good if you are going through a connection. It's definitely not always easy, and these days it's very difficult for anybody to have a connection and go through it. But sometimes if you are going through a recommendation or a connection, uh, it already builds a kind of faith in your resume, and you're more likely to win the interview. But I'm a person who would like to go ahead by myself without asking for a recommendation, because when you are going through a via a recommendation, it's your responsibility to nail the interview. If you screw up the interview, the relationship between the recommender and the recruiter is and you don't want to burn those bridges between them. You don't want to spoil their relationships. So I'm not going to give a lot of weightage on tip number 6, but it is good if it comes via a recommendation. So these are very important 5+1 tips for writing a non-cliched, non-standard resume that will catch the eyes of your recruiters. I am going to go ahead and share the flow of my resume so that you have an idea of what I am talking about. So let me just go ahead and share the screen for you guys. Just give me a minute, guys. I think I lost my page, which I had kept it open. Okay, so here you go. So I guess you can see my resume now, and it starts with my name, my address, my telephone number, and uh, anything that relates to how to get in touch with me. The next is I have highlighted my certifications and skills because these are very important and pretty much match to what I have done in the past. And then comes the work experience. So if you can see, I have used different fonts, capitalized fonts, I have used different colors, and I have bulleted every single responsibility and the points which I have uh, given in my resume. So I have used a lot of action verbs, like I have taken and implemented technical decisions, spearheaded uh, the so and so, or I have led role in technical meetings and given oral presentations at lunch and learn and things like that. And I have given a descending staircase with my experience, uh, starting from the latest one and which goes down, and it also has the time period I've been working on those projects. And then comes the education, and I have not gone far with my bachelor's and my 10 plus 2 degrees, but just PhD and MSc is fine enough. And then, because its resumes are usually given to submitted to job postings for an industry, patents are very important. So it's good to have the patent section before your publications. So although I have a lot of publications, I have just given a few significant recent first and second author publications and the awards and honors that I have received during my research tenure. So that is it. I also have a footer with my name and the page number next to it. And so if you have seen, I haven't included any references. It is good for recent college graduates to include references in your resume, but I haven't because I have more than 10 plus years of experience. So if the recruiter or the interviewer is interested, they can ask me for the reference. You can have a one liner. If you have a longer resume, don't go beyond 2 pages. You can just write references available on demand. And that's pretty much what I do. I definitely go ahead and keep changing the keywords depending on the uh, application or the company I'm applying to or the job I am applying to. So these are the things I keep doing on a routine basis, and this really helps. Make sure to include pretty fair number of keywords which are there in your job description in the job posting. That helps for you to get through the virtual recruiter system and go to a real human recruiter. So I hope all these tips are helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any questions and concerns, if you have any doubts, and I will be very happy to help you with that. So with that, I take your leave, and please, I earnestly request you all to please subscribe my channel, like, share, and comment on my video. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Bye.